Hello everybody, today we're making a pattern in 4 different lines. So what I'm doing first with my white piece of paper is folding it in half as close as I can possible, and just do your best with this. And then fold this one more time. This half goes into a half, and make the corners touch and crease it there. Make this corner touch and crease it there, and then go to the middle and try to make sure that your corners are together before you crease it all the way. And that will do just fine. So when I open this up, it's got 4 lines and I know where to stop. I can redraw those lines if I want to.
Route 1 is now here. Route 1 is now here.
Yeah, so route 1, you're here. There you go. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 equal lines. Let me scoot back so you can see this a little bit better. All right, so I am going to split up these lines into patterns, and I'm going to use shapes to do that. So now that I have these lines folded, it's measured for me. So I can take a book or a straight edge or even a ruler if you have one of those. Those are best. Go ahead and you're going to draw that line. You've already marked it. If you wanted to measure this out or have an adult help you do that, you could do that. And I can give you that measurement, but your paper may be different than mine, so that wouldn't matter. But you just want it 4 equal strips, just to do your best with that. So I'm just drawing those lines. My ruler's kind of bumpy on that side. I'm gonna turn it. And then scoot that up to this edge. And then there you are across. So 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. Well, the easiest is a triangle, I think. And you just draw straight diagonal lines and then pull them down. Triangle, 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 triangle. So those are acute triangles, or they're half. They're not cute because they're small. It's acute, meaning they're sharp. And then maybe an oval. And I don't have to draw 4 in, but I think that's what's fitting. And then that's fine. And then I'm going to color these in when they're done. Just drawing lines to split this up. I'm creating rectangles every other one. Square, rectangle, and that's kind of a rectangle because it's not square anymore. It got skinnier, and then those are rectangles. So I've done triangles, ovals, square, rectangle. What else could I do? What's another simple shape? Well, a circle is. Let's draw a circle. That's closer to a circle. Maybe a square in between that. So then I have all my shapes. Circle, square, rectangle, oval, triangle. Bingo, I have a pattern. Now, any way you want to do this is fine, but I would change it up between circles and squares, and not just do squares and not just do triangles. Try to give us some difference. And then you can start to fill these in. And remember, it looks best if you take your time as you fill things in. It doesn't have to be super dark, but it does need to be filled in. You want to color right next to the lines you drew. Don't leave any white showing. So I'll fill most of this in. Maybe I'll have the whole thing done and then include that picture also. But right now I'm thinking, you know what to do. Color these in. Use different colors. Not right next to, not the same color next to each other. I wouldn't just color this all this color. I'm going to change it up. This one is red. It can be red, but then this needs to be a different color because I'm making a pattern with shapes. It has a rhythm. So to have that rhythm, it needs space, just like in music when you're clapping out a beat. You need space in between the claps. Otherwise, it's just a continuous clap. And we're not making a continuous circle or a continuous triangle forever or anything like that. We're coloring it in, but changing up the color so that it has a different rhythm to it, different space. Those terms are the same in art and music. we speak the same language. So that's why art and music get along so well. Taking time to color these in. This new crayon is not brand new anymore, so I'm peeling a little bit of paper so that I can get to what I'm working on. I hold my paper, you're noticing that my hands are on top of it so it doesn't slip. And that way I can push hard and get the color into this paper. I'm pressing the crayon and the wax and the pigment is going into the paper, into the smoothness or the tooth of the paper. That's kind of cool. And you could do this with marker. You could do this with basically any material, but crayon seems to be pretty easy. Coloring this kind of light looks nice next to that really nicely colored in reddish orange there. So this is a light yellowish orange. And don't forget right there, right along it, makes it look good. That's about colored in, looks pretty good. And don't forget the edges. So what shapes are you going to draw? Do you notice that shapes make about everything in our lives? Everything has its own shape. Whether it's a geometric shape like these, circles, squares, triangles, rectangles, or it's an organic shape like if you spilled milk, like the shape of an island, or a leaf. A leaf is kind of an oval shape, but it is an organic shape because they're all different. Not all shapes are oval. Not all leaves are oval is what I'm trying to say. Some are pointy, like a maple leaf has lots of scoops and edges to it. I can use this in another place. I wanted to skip a section. And maybe I can juxtapose the color in this. But hopefully you'll take your time and do 4 strips. And I'm calling this a shape pattern composition with 4 lines. And this will look good. It's kind of an abstract piece of work, meaning it's not a picture of a lady or a dog or a house or a landscape or anything like that. It's just shapes and colors. And sometimes non-objective work like this, meaning it's not a picture of anything but things. So sometimes these are just fun to look at. Sometimes you like the relationship of the colors. Looking for other colors that would be interesting with this mix. Well, blue is always great with orange. Well, this is an indigo, like a purplish blue, blue-violet color. There are so many names for the same color sometimes. You might call this grape or blueberry. It's about that color. What is your favorite color? So we are coloring all these in and getting it to look good. Taking our time, filling in shapes. Doing the same color here. So there's a pattern, there's a rhythm to my pattern. Over, under, purple, orange, orange, purple, purple, orange. It has its own rhythm to it. That's kind of neat. When you start this out, you probably don't know what colors you'll use, and then you find colors and you use them, and you think, well, I could have done this differently. Sure, you can change it up. You can do things a different way every time, and that's kind of fun. Now, I don't think this is the same color as this. It's close. Let me scoot this up. I was drawing over a piece of tape, and then that left that line, so I need to scoot that out of the way. So as I'm drawing over something, it gives it a visual texture I wasn't asking for, so I have to be in control of the material. Color around the edge as you go. And then that's filled in pretty good. See a little bit. And then I'm coloring in that circle next to the edge. I can go back and forth now. That's the quickest way to color in. Markers might be a little faster, but if you goof, you goof, and it's kind of hard to hide that too. I'm looking for other colors to use. Well, I found a yellow. That would be perfect. That could go right here. And see, I'm using the side of my crayon, so I'm rubbing it in, and that goes really quickly. And this, you're not going to draw really dark and have it all be super dense yellow. It's going to be filled in though, and so that's great. And I can just work out this way and push, and it's okay because I have a mat here, so it doesn't get on the art room table. And even if it did, it's easy to clean off. And so there is my yellow. All right, well, what else can I do? There could be yellow here because we like that rhythm. I did. I thought about pink right here on the outside because we don't have that color yet. Using the end of the crayon to go long strokes. So I haven't peeled this crayon. It's not an old one. It's getting to the point where I'll need to peel it soon though. And draw your lines down and maybe around. And try not to get into that square. We want to leave it white. And if you want to leave a shape white, that's okay. That's, you know, a valid choice. It's still a choice to leave something, but don't leave your work looking undone. It's fine to leave those pieces white because I've surrounded it. An easier way would be to leave this white and color this in pink, but you know, I wanted to do it this way. You can choose to do it however you want. I just want to make sure that you spend 15 to 20 minutes on this and you do your best work to fill it in and make it look finished. There's a big difference from something being filled in and something not being filled in, and I hope you know that big difference. What's finished and what's not finished is a big deal, big difference. Because if you do take the time to finish your work, I promise you get good grades. If you rush through things, it looks that way, and you probably won't get as high of a grade. I'm pretty sure about that. I know it was always that way for me. If I took my time, I usually did really good. If I hurried, not so good. Doesn't look as good. We know that. We can tell by looking at it. That's how our eyes inform us of information. So it's like collecting data. We know what's going on. So I'm close to being finished with this. I'm looking for another color. I could use green, and I don't know how well that will go with my mix of what I'm doing. Should we try it? Here's a light green. It's an old crayon. Let's see if this one will make our ovals look good. So there's a yellow green or a light green. Coloring this in. Scooting it up to the edge. And maybe, oh, I got on the outside. Skip one and go up to this one, this edge inside of it. Trying to stay in the lines, you know, like in a coloring book if I was trying to do it perfectly. We've created our own lines to color into today, so that's kind of neat. Thought about a darker green next to it, which is kind of cool. And I might leave this white because it is a real contrast, that white, dark green. And we're about done with this, boys and girls. Please send me a picture of your shape pattern. I have 4 sections. Please give me 4 close to equal sections. Remember, I measured it at first, or folded it, really. And that is a way of measuring. And then I drew the lines. And then I drew the shapes in between the lines. So they would be about the same place, and they would have equal billing, or they would you know, be in a row together, or in a column basically. So this is one row, another row, another row. Columns go up and down. But if I read it like a language, it would be triangle, oval, rectangle, square. But then this one would be triangle, oval, rectangle, circle. And see how it goes. It's kind of neat. We made our own pattern. Times 4. So, look, boys and girls, I didn't use any blue in this. Can you believe it? I used indigo, though, so that counts, and it's purple. I'm fine if you use some white spaces or leave them, but do color in most of what you've done to make this shape pattern. It looks great in different ways. Kind of like it the way that I started it. Now, I've drawn different examples of this, and this had ovals and triangles mostly, but I thought it looked like Easter eggs. And these look like something else. So these look like ice cream cones to me. And of course you could decorate it, represent something in a way, but this is basically what we did. This has 4 equal parts also. You can do this any way you want, but give me 4 equal lines and give me geometric shapes like triangles, ovals, squares, rectangles, circles. All right, thank you very much.